My husband's parents told him they'd only keep paying his student loans if he left me. I found out when he moved his things out without a word. I called him 12 times. No answer. Days later, his mother sent me a photo of him smiling with a new girl. "This one has potential," she wrote. I didn't reply. But I still had the signed loan documents that. I met Nate when I was 31 and working night shifts at Sacred Heart Medical Center in Spokane. He was 28 and working part-time at a local engineering firm while finishing his master's degree at Gonzaga. We met at a bar downtown, and honestly, I didn't think he was serious at first. He was charming but came off like someone who always had a backup plan. He called me the next day, though. And the next. Then he started bringing me lunch during my breaks, sitting with me in the parking lot while I vented about patients and long hours. He always listened. He made me feel seen. He came from a very different world. His parents had money. Not millionaire money, but enough. They lived in Liberty Lake in a big house with a manicured lawn and an HOA that made sure your grass didn't grow an inch too long. His mom, Diane, hosted fundraisers. His dad, Ray, was some kind of executive at an energy company. They never liked me. The first time I met them, Diane looked me up and down like I was dirt under her nails. She asked if I had plans to move out of the working class or if I was comfortable staying in scrubs forever. I smiled through it. Nate later told me she's just blunt and means well. But she didn't. She meant every word. Still, I loved Nate. He moved in with me 6 months after we started dating. My place was smaller, but it felt like ours. He kept saying he wanted to get out from under his parents' thumb, and living with me was part of that. Or so I thought. When he proposed, I was shocked. He didn't ask my dad. He didn't do the whole speech thing. He just showed up one day with a ring and said, "Let's just do this." I didn't care. I loved him. So we did it. Quick courthouse wedding. Just us. No flowers. No family. Just a promise. I should have seen it as a red flag that he didn't even want to tell his parents right away. About a week after we got married, Nate came to me with a stack of student loan documents. He said he needed to take out an additional loan to finish the last 2 semesters. His parents were tired of funding everything, and he needed a co-signer. He promised it'd be temporary. "I'll be making 6 figures in 2 years," he told me. "This is just to get there." I signed. Dumb. I didn't ask enough questions. I trusted him. For the first year, things were okay. He studied. I worked. His parents were distant, but we saw them for the holidays. Diane never warmed up to me. She once told me, "Women like you always think they can marry up. But the ones who do it quietly usually get further." Whatever the hell that meant. Then earlier this year, Nate changed. He got secretive. Guarded. He started going out for group projects at weird hours. He turned his phone over whenever he set it down. He added a password to his laptop. When I asked about it, he said, "You're being paranoid." Around that same time, I noticed the loan statements weren't coming in anymore. Or at least not like before. I asked him, and he told me his parents were paying directly now to avoid extra fees. I believed him. One morning in early April, I woke up and he was gone. Everything of his clothes, his charger, his cologne, his shoes, was gone. At first, I thought maybe he left for an early class or something. But then I saw the drawers. Empty. No note. No call. Just gone. I called him. Once. Twice. 12 times by the end of the night. Straight to voicemail. No reply to texts. By the second day, I was still clinging to the hope that something had happened. Like maybe an emergency, or he was having some kind of breakdown. Day 3, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of Nate. Smiling, arm around some blonde girl I'd never seen before. They were dressed up, drinking wine in what looked like a vineyard. It was bright. Sunny. Happy. Under the photo, it said, "This one has potential. Diane." No hi. No explanation. Just that. I sat on the couch, phone in my hand, staring at the message. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Something inside me just shut off. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed up going through our files. Bills. Insurance. Credit cards. And then I found it, the student loan paperwork from when we got married. That second loan he begged me to co-sign? It was only in my name. And the ones his parents had taken over? Those were still under his name. But the extra? That big one? That was mine. His parents had stopped paying his loans. I checked the portal. They cut him off. But they didn't do it until right after we got married. Right after I co-signed the big one. I printed out every document I had. His emails. His texts. My bank statements. The payment history. And I realized something, he didn't just leave me. They planned this. They used me. Now it was my turn to show them just how big of a mistake that was. The next morning, I called the loan servicer pretending to be confused about the repayment plan. I asked if both borrowers were listed on the account. The lady on the phone told me gently, "Ma'am, you're the only one listed. You're the sole borrower. There's no cosigner." I hung up and just sat there. Heart pounding. Mouth dry. He lied. He told me I was co-signing his loan. But what I signed was my loan. In my name only. He and his parents had set me up. They knew his loans were a mess. They knew he couldn't qualify a loan. So they had him marry someone gullible, someone not from their world, someone they could toss aside after they got what they wanted. They wanted a scapegoat. And I had walked right into it. I didn't cry. I didn't call anyone. I opened my laptop and made a plan. First, I made copies of every financial document I had, loan papers, text messages, even the stupid photo Diane sent me. I scanned everything into a single folder and sent it to my personal email, then backed it up to a flash drive. Then, I dug deeper. Nate's student email was still logged into my laptop from months ago. I clicked through it. There were messages between him and a girl named Amanda. Same girl from the photo. They had been emailing for months. Sharing class notes, jokes, and eventually pictures. One email from Nate to her hit me like a punch, finally got out of that mess. Parents are proud again. Got the money sorted. We're clear now. Let's plan that trip to Napa, winky face, that was 3 days after he left me. They weren't just together. She was part of this new life he was building. The one where I didn't exist, except on loan documents. I kept reading. He told Amanda everything. How I barely understood finances. How I was desperate for marriage. How I didn't fit in but was useful. Useful. Like I was a damn tool. And Diane? She was in on all of it. There were emails between her and Nate talking about the transition. She actually wrote, "Let her carry the loan. Then step away clean. You don't need her anymore." Clean. They thought they could walk away clean. That same week, I got a notice in the mail. First repayment on the loan was coming due. $742.36. I called Nate. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. So I left a message, "You picked the wrong person to screw over." Then I got to work. I contacted an attorney. Not for a divorce, I already knew I wasn't getting alimony or some fairy tale outcome. No, I wanted advice on something specific: fraud, loan misrepresentation, and possible civil claims. The attorney, a woman named Laura who sounded like she'd seen every kind of betrayal, told me I might have a case. If I could prove that I was misled into taking a loan I thought was co-signed, and if I had any written proof, there might be a fraud claim. Turns out, that email where Nate said she thinks she's just co-signing? That was golden. So we filed a complaint. Against Nate and against Diane. Then I did something petty. Small. But it felt good. I mailed Diane a copy of the loan bill. With a post-it note on top, potential doesn't pay your son's debt. I do. For now. No signature. Just that. 2 days later, I got a call from Nate. I didn't answer. Then he texted, "Why are you trying to ruin my life?" I stared at the screen for a while. He didn't ask how I was. He didn't apologize. He didn't even mention Amanda. Just ruin my life. I didn't respond. Instead, I started making calls to everyone he had ever listed as a reference on job applications. I still had copies from when we updated his resume together. I started with an old college professor. I told the truth. That he left me with a massive debt and lied to get me to sign it. I didn't ask them to do anything. I just wanted them to know the kind of man he'd become. I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I just told the story. People talk. Especially in Spokane. Especially in tight career circles like engineering firms and alumni networks. By the end of the month, Nate's job offers started drying up. He texted me again, "My mom says you're going psycho. You need help." I replied, "No. I just finally woke up." About 2 weeks after that last text, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, just my name scribbled in handwriting I didn't recognize. Inside was a letter. It was from Amanda. I read it 3 times before I even reacted. She started by saying she was sorry. She said she had no idea Nate was married when they started dating. He told her I was a crazy ex who was still obsessed with him and refused to sign the divorce papers. She believed him. She wrote that she found the loan paperwork while helping him pack boxes at his new apartment. She saw my name on all of it and started asking questions. When he brushed her off, she got suspicious. That's when she started going through his emails. Apparently, she found everything I already knew, and more. He'd done this before. Back in college, Nate had dated a girl who had great credit and convinced her to co-sign a car loan. After a year, he broke up with her and stopped paying. His parents bailed him out back then. The girl had to file for bankruptcy. Amanda found the whole story in old emails he had saved in a hidden folder labeled archive. He bragged about it to an old friend. Called it a necessary sacrifice. She ended the letter like this: "I don't know what kind of man I thought I was falling in love with. But he's not who I thought he was. I'm done with him. And if there's anything I can do to help you, just ask." She even included her phone number. I didn't call her. Not yet. I needed to think. And I needed to be careful. Because as much as I hated Nate, and I really, truly did, this was getting deeper than just revenge. This was about exposing him. That night, I sat down and made a timeline. Every lie. Every loan. Every text. Every date. I highlighted where things overlapped, when he told me one thing, but told Amanda or his parents something else. I turned it into a spreadsheet. I shared it with my lawyer. She said it looked like a case of deliberate misrepresentation, maybe even identity fraud, if we could prove he intended to deceive me into taking out a loan solely in my name. Then the next twist came. Diane showed up at my work. She walked into the hospital like she owned the place and asked the front desk to page me. I was on break in the back when a nurse came in and said, "There's a woman out front asking for you. Real stiff-looking. Says she's your mother-in-law." I walked out there slowly. She was wearing pearls. Like this was Sunday brunch and not the middle of a workday. She didn't smile. "Let's talk," she said. I crossed my arms and didn't move. "Anything you have to say can go through my lawyer." Her lips tightened. "That won't be necessary if we settle this like adults." I laughed. Loud. Right in her face. She actually looked surprised. "You tried to ruin me," I said. "You used me. And now that the truth's out, you want to talk?" She leaned in close. "You think dragging this into court is going to make you look smart? You'll just look bitter. Crazy. You won't win. But you will lose your time, your money, your reputation. I stepped back. Then I said, you should leave before I call security. She turned without another word and walked out. The very next day, I got another call from Nate. I didn't answer. Then a voicemail, look, we need to end this. It's getting out of hand. My mom's talking about legal action. Can we just talk? No. We couldn't. That same week, Amanda forwarded me even more messages. Apparently, Diane had offered Amanda $5,000 to stay quiet and disappear. Amanda refused. And then she sent me the screenshots of Diane's messages. One said, she's emotional. She'll ruin herself. Let her. You just focus on being the girl my son needs. Amanda's reply? I'm not the kind of girl who takes bribes to cover up fraud. That message right there became a key part of my case. By now, my lawyer was in talks with the state's attorney. Turns out, what Nate and his parents had done crossed into legal territory beyond just civil court. Fraud. Coercion. Maybe even conspiracy. I hadn't planned for things to go this far. I just wanted them to feel the weight of what they did. But now? Now I realized something. They thought I was weak. They thought I'd break down, move on, and eat the debt quietly. But I wasn't the same woman who signed those papers anymore. And I had no intention of letting them off easy. 3 months later, I was sitting in a courtroom in downtown Spokane across from Nate and Diane. They looked different now. Nervous. No fake smiles. No smug attitude. Nate wore a wrinkled suit and wouldn't look me in the eye. Diane kept whispering to their lawyer like she was still trying to control everything. But they couldn't control this. By then, my attorney and I had filed both a civil suit and handed over all our evidence to the state's fraud division. The spreadsheet, the emails from Amanda, the voice messages, even Diane's offer to pay Amanda off, every piece painted a clear picture of a setup. Me, the target. Them, the schemers. It wasn't just the loan. It was the lie. The planning. The manipulation. The way they lured me in, then kicked me out like garbage. Amanda testified too. She didn't have to. But she did. She looked Diane straight in the face when she said, I didn't know who he was until it was too late. But once I found out, I couldn't live with it. The judge listened quietly. Took notes. Looked through every document we submitted. The case took weeks, but in the end, we won. Not just the civil suit. The judge ruled that Nate had knowingly and willfully deceived me into taking on debt under false pretenses. That Diane's communications showed direct involvement. That what they did went beyond simple family conflict. It was financial abuse. The court ordered Nate to take full responsibility for the loan. He had to refinance it under his name, or face wage garnishment. Diane was ordered to pay damages. Real damages. Almost $50,000 for emotional distress, legal fees, and fraud. But it didn't stop there. Nate's school was notified of the findings. His degree was placed under review for academic integrity violations. Apparently, some of those group projects involved work other people did for him, including Amanda. He lost his job offer. And the best part? The engineering firm that had once offered him a $90,000 starting salary? One of the senior partners was married to a friend of mine from the hospital. Word had already reached them about the lawsuit. His offer had been quietly pulled a month earlier. No one wanted to hire someone who used their wife to dodge debt. Diane's social circle turned cold too. Amanda had shared Diane's texts online, anonymously, but people figured it out. Spokane isn't that big. People talk. She stepped down from her fundraiser committee. I heard from someone she used to work with that people started crossing the street when they saw her coming. After everything was finalized, I got a letter from Nate. It was handwritten. I never meant for it to go this far. I was desperate. My parents pushed me. I thought I could fix it later. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. What would I say? That I forgive him? No. I don't. But here's the truth, I wasn't innocent either. I was desperate, too. I wanted to believe in love so badly I ignored red flags. I let myself believe lies because they were wrapped in promises. I let someone like Diane talk down to me, and I still tried to win her over. That was on me. But once I woke up, I didn't stop. I paid attention. I followed the money. I kept the receipts. I used my own pain to get smart. People like Nate and Diane? They don't think people like me matter. They think we'll stay quiet. They think we'll be too embarrassed to fight. They were wrong. I got my name cleared. I got justice. And every month when they cut that check to cover court-ordered payments, I hope it stings. I hope they remember I wasn't the one who destroyed them. They did that to themselves. All I did was light the match.